Okay, there was a question on number 4, and I think this is the problem that was being asked about. They asked about the hypotenuse being, can I make the hypotenuse negative? And so this was basically what was written on my answer key that I had posted. So let me talk about this a little bit. In general, whenever we draw one of these, this is what was on my answer key, okay? So this is another way to think about it. It's in quadrant 4 over here. And so when I draw this, the sign is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Now, but it's a negative. So what I'm going to tell you to do is to keep the hypotenuse always positive no matter which quadrant you're in, and then let the negative come into effect depending on, like the x here, we've moved in a positive direction, the y is moved in a negative direction, so we make that a -7 right there. If we keep the hypotenuse positive, then this negative over a positive gives us that negative. Okay, but what I did is I used the formula for the double cosine angle that doesn't even require me to draw this triangle. By the way, this is a 7/24/25 triangle. So another way that we could have done it is we could have said that cosine of theta is equal to 24/25. And then we could have used the formula that cosine of 2 theta is equal to 2 cosine squared theta minus 1, which would be 2 times 24/25 squared minus 1. I know this is 2 times 625 is the denominator. I think that's 576. I forgot to bring home a calculator. Well, I didn't know that I needed to bring home a calculator, and I haven't been to school since spring break. So minus 1. So this should work out to be that same number. Check and verify that I'm right. I'm too lazy to find a I don't have a calculator at home, so and I'm too lazy to find my phone. Okay, so but let's think about this for just a second. So let's say that if theta is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, then 2 theta means I have to multiply everybody by 2. 3 pi would be less than 2 theta, which would be less than 4 pi. Okay, well, in our unit circle, where is that? Well, so we have 0, we have 1 pi, we have 2 pi, we have 3 pi. 3 pi, this is going to be somewhere between 3 pi and 4 pi, right? So we're somewhere down in here. Well, on this side, going in this direction, cosine will be negative, and going in this direction, cosine is going to be positive. Well, that doesn't give us a ton of information. Sometimes we know from this that it has to be one thing or the other. Like if they asked us to find sine of 2 theta, well, then we know sine is going to be the y value. Sine of 2 theta has to be negative because it's going to be somewhere between 3 pi and 4 pi, which all of these sine values are. Unless it's exactly 3 pi or exactly 4 pi, it's going to be negative. Well, what happens here is that this doesn't give us quite enough information. This is a much smaller segment here. So if we were to draw this closer to scale, then we'd be doing something like this. Okay, and so then this would be -7, this would be +24. And so this angle is a whole lot closer to 2 pi. So it's going to be a whole lot closer here when we double it. So it's going to be somewhere, the double angle is going to be somewhere in this quadrant. Oh, sorry. So hopefully that makes sense. The short answer to the question as I understand your question, is that always keep the hypotenuse positive whenever you draw that, because then the negatives will take care of themselves with this. In this quadrant, well, in quadrant 4, the x is positive and the y is negative, and so that'll take care of everything that you need. Hopefully that was helpful. If not, ask another question. Okay, good luck.